Your refrigerator is supposed to keep your food fresh, right? But what if I told you that some of the vegetables sitting in your fridge right now are actually losing their flavor, turning rubbery, or worse, becoming less nutritious, especially for seniors? The way you store vegetables isn't just a matter of taste. It's about preserving nutrients that support your heart, protect your vision, and reduce inflammation. And in some cases, the fridge could be doing more harm than good. See, not all veggies like the cold. Some were never meant to sit in the chilly, humid air of a refrigerator. When they do, their texture breaks down. Their natural sugars turn bitter or overly sweet, and powerful antioxidants begin to fade. On the other hand, there are vegetables that must stay cold. Without refrigeration, they wilt, spoil quickly, or lose the very compounds that make them cancer-fighting and heart-healthy. So today, we're going to set the record straight. You'll learn which 3 vegetables should always stay out of the fridge, and why keeping them cold can actually hurt your health. Then, we'll cover the 3 vegetables that absolutely need to be refrigerated to keep their nutrients strong and your meals safe. This simple switch in how you store your produce could help you feel more energized, protect your digestion, and even extend the shelf life of your groceries. Let's start with the vegetables that actually suffer in the cold. 3 vegetables you should never refrigerate. Tomatoes keep the flavor and lycopene alive. Tomatoes may look like the perfect fridge companion, soft, juicy, and easy to stack in the crisper drawer. But here's the truth. Refrigerating tomatoes is one of the worst things you can do to them. Why? Because tomatoes are packed with a powerful compound called lycopene. One of nature's most effective antioxidants, lycopene has been shown to reduce the risk of several cancers, particularly prostate and breast cancer, and to support healthy cholesterol and heart function. But here's the kicker. Cold temperatures can interfere with the very enzymes that develop lycopene and other beneficial nutrients. When you refrigerate a tomato, its texture begins to break down. Instead of that bright, juicy bite, you get something mealy, grainy, and dull. More than just a flavor issue. This signals a nutrient loss, especially for older adults who need all the health-supporting compounds they can get from food. Tomatoes are also sensitive to light and humidity. Keeping them in a cool, dry spot on your kitchen counter allows them to continue ripening naturally, enhancing both taste and nutrition. Best practice: keep it room temperature. Ideally, stem side down to slow spoilage. Store them away from direct sunlight, which can make them over-ripen too quickly. Use within a few days of ripening. If they get soft, eat them right away rather than tossing them into the fridge as a last resort. For seniors, this small shift can mean more flavorful meals and a stronger daily dose of antioxidants. So before you reach for the fridge, remember, your tomatoes want to breathe. But if tomatoes are the fruit-turned veggie that suffers in the cold, wait until you hear about the starchy staple that sweetens in the worst way when refrigerated. Potatoes. Cold ruins their natural balance. Potatoes are a staple in nearly every American kitchen. Comforting, versatile, and packed with nutrients like potassium, vitamin C, and fiber. But many people unknowingly destroy their quality by storing them in the fridge. When raw potatoes are chilled, the cold triggers a chemical reaction that turns their natural starches into sugars. This not only gives them a strange, sweet taste, but also changes their texture, making them grainy, mushy, or rubbery when cooked. Even worse, those excess sugars can combine with naturally occurring amino acids during high heat cooking, like frying or baking, to produce acrylamide, a compound linked to nerve damage and increased cancer risk. And yes, this applies to both white and sweet potatoes. While sweet potatoes might seem like the healthier choice, they too become compromised when exposed to low temperatures. For older adults who may already be managing blood sugar or digestion issues, the last thing you want is to eat a nutrient-rich vegetable that's been chemically altered by cold storage. Best practice: store in a cool, dark, well-ventilated pantry. Ideally around 45-50 degrees Fahrenheit. Keep potatoes in a paper bag, cardboard box, or burlap sack to avoid moisture buildup. Avoid plastic bags. They trap moisture and promote mold. Keep them away from onions, which emit gases that cause potatoes to sprout and spoil faster. When stored correctly, potatoes maintain their natural flavor and texture and provide clean burning energy, steady potassium, and satisfying fiber that supports blood pressure and muscle function. So, next time you unload groceries, resist the urge to toss your potatoes in the fridge. Your body and your taste buds will thank you. And speaking of strong flavors, let's talk about the next common kitchen veggie that can quickly go soft and moldy in cold temperatures if you're not careful. Whole onions. Keep dry to stay fresh. Onions are a flavor powerhouse in the kitchen, and they also pack a nutritional punch rich in quercetin, sulfur compounds, and antioxidants. Onions support heart health, boost immunity, and may even reduce the risk of certain cancers, but storing them the wrong way can turn this superfood into a soggy, sprouting mess. Many people toss onions straight into the fridge without thinking, but that's actually the worst place for whole onions. The cold, humid air inside your refrigerator, papery skin that protects the onion's layers. Once that barrier is compromised, moisture sneaks in, causing the onion to soften, mold, and sprout prematurely. The result? A mushy, bitter bulb that's lost both flavor and nutrition. And in some cases, sprouted onions can become unsafe to eat if mold or bacteria set in. Onions thrive in cool, dry, and ventilated environments, not cold and damp ones. Think pantry, cellar, or even a basket on a kitchen shelf, away from direct sunlight, and stored in something breathable, like a mesh bag or perforated bowl. Best practice: store whole onions at room temperature in a dry, well-ventilated area. Never store them in plastic. It traps moisture and encourages spoilage. Keep onions away from potatoes, which release gases and moisture that cause onions to rot faster. Once cut, transfer any leftover onion to an air 3-5 days. By storing onions the right way, you keep them flavorful, crisp, and loaded with the health benefits your body needs, especially as you age. But not every vegetable prefers the pantry. Some vegetables must be kept cold to lock in their nutrients and prevent spoilage. In fact, refrigerating the next group of vegetables isn't just a suggestion, it's essential for your health and safety. So let's flip the script and take a look at 3 vegetables you absolutely must keep cold. 3. Vegetables you must keep cold. Leafy greens, spinach, kale, lettuce. Leafy greens are among the healthiest foods on the planet, loaded with vitamins A, C, and K, folate, fiber, and cancer-fighting antioxidants. For seniors, they support everything from bone strength and blood clotting to eye health and digestion. But they're also some of the most perishable vegetables in your kitchen. When leafy greens like spinach, kale, and lettuce are left out at room temperature, they quickly wilt, lose their crispness, and degrade nutritionally. Even worse, warm conditions create the perfect environment for harmful bacteria like E. coli and salmonella to grow. Especially dangerous for adults over 60 with weaker immune systems. And if you're buying pre-washed or bagged greens, the risk increases. These are often processed in large facilities where cross-contamination can occur. While washing your greens before eating is still important, proper cold storage is your first line of defense against foodborne illness. Best practice: store greens in your fridge's crisper drawer, ideally in a breathable produce bag. If buying pre-washed, keep the original packaging sealed until use and don't rinse until you're ready to eat. Place a paper towel in the container or bag to absorb moisture and reduce sliminess. Consume within 3-5 days for peak nutrition and freshness. When stored correctly, your leafy greens stay crisp, vibrant, and full of the nutrients your body needs to stay energized, regular, and resilient. Don't let one wrong move turn a healthy salad into a risky bite. And speaking of foods that need cold to stay safe, there's one vegetable in your pantry that you might not realize should absolutely be refrigerated once it's been chopped or peeled. Not doing so could lead to spoilage or worse. Let's move on to the next cold storage essential: a root vegetable. That's a staple in every kitchen. Pre-cut vegetables and salad mixes. Don't take chances. They're convenient, they're colorful, and they save you time, but pre-cut vegetables and salad mixes come with a hidden risk, especially for seniors. Once a vegetable is chopped, peeled, or shredded, its outer protective layer is gone. That barrier is what naturally defends against bacteria, mold, and moisture loss. Without it, the exposed flesh becomes a breeding ground for harmful microorganisms, especially if left out at room temperature. For older adults, this isn't just a minor concern. Seniors are more vulnerable to foodborne illnesses due to age-related changes in digestion and immunity. Even mild bacterial contamination from pre-cut veggies can lead to nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, or more serious complications. Whether it's baby, carrots, celery sticks, coleslaw mixes, broccoli florets, or pre-sliced bell peppers, cold storage is a must from the moment they're prepared. Best practice: refrigerate immediately after purchase. Don't leave these items sitting on the counter or in a warm grocery bag. Use clean utensils when removing portions and reseal the package tightly to limit contamination. Place a paper towel inside the container or bag to absorb excess moisture and reduce spoilage. Always check expiration dates and discard any produce that smells off, looks slimy, or shows discoloration. To extend freshness, you can also transfer store-bought pre-cuts into a glass container with a tight lid. lined with paper towel to wick away moisture. The bottom line, if it's sliced, chopped, shredded, or pre-mixed, it needs the fridge. Don't risk your health for convenience. And speaking of vegetables that absolutely belong in the fridge, there's one that's crunchy, watery, and refreshing, but only if it's stored properly. Let's take a closer look at the next must-chill veggie that plays a surprising role in hydration and heart health. Mushrooms. High moisture equals high spoilage risk. Mushrooms might look firm and dry on the outside, but they're actually loaded with water. And that makes them one of the most perishable vegetables in your kitchen, left out at room temperature. Mushrooms quickly become a breeding ground for bacteria and mold. Within just a few hours, they can start to feel slimy, develop dark spots, or emit an unpleasant odor. That's not just unappetizing. It can be dangerous for seniors with sensitive digestion or weakened immune systems. The key to keeping mushrooms fresh and safe is moisture control. Too much moisture speeds up spoilage, but too little, and they dry out and lose flavor. Best practice: store mushrooms in the refrigerator, ideally in the crisper drawer. Keep them in their original packaging if it's a breathable container, or transfer them to a paper bag, which allows air circulation and absorbs excess moisture. Never store mushrooms in a sealed plastic bag. That traps moisture and leads to faster decay. Wait to wash them until right before use, as added moisture can accelerate spoilage in storage. Use within 3-5 days of purchase for best taste and safety. When stored properly, mushrooms provide amazing benefits, supporting immune health, memory, and even inflammation control, thanks to their antioxidants and B vitamins. They're a delicious way to add texture and depth to meals, but only when kept fresh. So whether you're tossing them into an omelet, sautéing them for a stir-fry, or adding them to a salad, make sure they've been stored cold and clean. Now that you know which vegetables belong in the fridge and which ones don't, let's bring it all together. Your vegetable drawer could be one of the most powerful tools for protecting your health. So, ready for the final recap that shows you exactly what to eat, how to store it, and why it matters. Let's pull it all together with some quick takeaways you'll want to remember. When it comes to healthy eating, most people focus on what to buy. But how you store your vegetables can be just as important, especially for seniors. Proper storage can protect your food's taste, extend its life, and even reduce the risk of illness. Let's recap the simple but powerful changes you can make starting today. Never refrigerate these. Tomatoes' refrigeration ruins their flavor and reduces lycopene, the antioxidant that supports heart and cancer protection. Potatoes' cold temps convert their starches to sugars and increase acrylamide when cooked. Whole onions, moisture in the fridge breaks down their outer skin, leading to mold and spoilage. Always keep these cold. Leafy greens prevents the growth of bacteria like E. coli and keeps nutrients intact. Pre-cut vegetables. Once cut, veggies lose their defenses. Refrigeration keeps them safe and fresh. Mushrooms en gratin. Their high water content makes them especially vulnerable to bacterial growth if not kept cold. A few adjustments in how you organize your kitchen can help you avoid food waste, save money, and most importantly, protect your health. These small habits go a long way in maintaining strength, immunity, and vitality. Go ahead. Open your fridge today and take inventory. Are your tomatoes sitting in the cold? Are your mushrooms sealed in plastic? Now's the perfect time to fix it. If this article helped you, please share it with a friend or loved one who wants to eat smarter and live longer. And drop a comment below. Which of these surprised you most? And what will you start doing differently today? Stay tuned for more easy, science-backed tips to help you eat well, feel great, and stay independent every step of the way.